It is time for a corner chat. Let's talk business with Mr. Daniel Steinman right here on your power station, Energy 100. And of course, your hostess, Elsie, will be keeping you company as well. But last week, we touched on quite interesting things. But you know what? The thing is that there's always an interesting conversation happening with Mr. Daniel Steinman. A warm welcome to you, Mr. Daniel Steinman.
Thank you, Elsie.
And a warm welcome to the listeners as well. Today we will be touching on decentralization.
Why?
The role of the local authorities, also the regional councils. What role do they play? Let's start there.
Elsie, you can't develop a country if you try and do all of it up from Windhoek. Mm-hmm. You have to have structures, channels, mechanisms in place on regional level, that's regional councils, and on local authority level. Yes. Those are the towns and I don't want to call them cities, but let's call them the bigger settlements.
Yeah.
And you need two things on regional level if you want to decentralize authority down to the operational level, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, you can run the budget from Windhoek. You can allocate all the funding from Windhoek. I mean, those are book entries. It doesn't matter where it's done. I can do it with an internet connection on the banks of the Zambezi in Katima Mulilo.
Yeah.
You know, but you cannot run a project, an irrigation project in the Kavango from Windhoek.
Yeah.
You cannot run an agricultural project in Kunene from Windhoek.
Yeah.
So the moment you're talking about the operational side, you have to have a presence on the ground.
Yeah.
And for that you need infrastructure and you need capacity. Now, in some circles, capacity is a swear word. And in other circles, capacity is like a slight excuse for we don't really know how to do it.
Yeah.
Or there are reasons why we don't accomplish anything. But let's look at the tangible aspect. First, that one of infrastructure. If you do not develop your country along the paradigm of a holistic approach. Now, these are a lot of big words, I know that, but let's try and break them down. You know, what it means is that you need to have almost the same capacity in Katima and in Rundu and in Nkurunkuru and in Utapi that you have in Windhoek.
Yeah.
You are basically barking up the wrong tree if you have a lot of capacity in Windhoek and you only have a few underlings in the regional administrative towns or the administrative head towns. Like for instance in Nkurunkuru, I don't know when last were you there.
Yeah.
But
I was probably 19 when I was last there.
After 20 years, Nkurunkuru is still a frontier town. But it's the capital of Kavango East.
Yeah.
You know, so it means that the intention with creating two Kavangos from the one big Kavango, that was good. And the infrastructure and the capacity is in Rundu. You just have to go there and then you see things are happening there. And then you drive 270 kilometers further on your way to Katwetwe, and you get to a town and you see this is not the capital of a region. You see, so that's why I say you need infrastructure and you need capacity. The most basic part with infrastructure are transport and communications. And then the second part is that you have to be able to provide a certain level of quality of life.
Definitely.
So it means that you cannot talk about decentralizing the authority of the central government to the regions if you cannot at least provide a clinic every 50 or 100 kilometers, clean water in every village and settlement. Not nobody must be forced to walk 5 kilometers with a 20-liter can on her head to go fetch water. You know, And electricity, we're getting there, but eventually it becomes very important. And then obviously transport. If you want to bring development to the people, you need to be able to reach them, and for that you need a road.
Yeah.
And then the second most important one, communication. You cannot invest in the development of a region trying to build a capacity there if you cannot talk to those people.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important. And it's so simple. You know, all the stuff I've mentioned, none of it is rocket science. And then you go to certain places and you physically there and you see these basic elements, they're not present. They're not there. And then you realize that region will be neglected in terms of development for quite a number of years.
Yes, most definitely. But we will continue this talk right after the short break, so do not go away.